Welcome to season 2 of Where Passion Meets Purpose. I'm your host, Jen Mentasana. Each week, I sit down with entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and trailblazers who share their raw, real stories of perseverance, resilience, and building a life and business with impact. We talk about everything from entrepreneurship and family to purpose and living fully. My goal is to inspire you to start that dream, push through the hard seasons, and wake up every single day ready to live the life you were born to live with passion and purpose. Welcome back, everyone, to Where Passion Meets Purpose. We're back in the studio today, and I have a wonderful new guest. He's a new friend of mine, and his name is Tom Campbell. He is an author and a speaker, a father and a businessman, and he has just written this book, Gotta Look Up, loving the title. And we're going to talk all about that and what brought him to read this book and the story of his life that has changed his life forever. So, Tom, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jen. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, it is so much fun to have you in the studio. We met online and only recently through, I think, Stage Leaders and Jen Gottlieb's program, and also Angela Goodman is a mutual friend. And I was so grateful to connect with you and get to hear your story and learn about your book. And I think this is something that every parent is going to be able to relate to and is so needed in today's society. So before we dive into the book, I'd love to kind of hear where you were in your life and what prompted you to write this.
So it's been a work in progress for probably 10 years. And it came with the advent of these things. And I got tired of people doing this all day and bumping into me when I'm walking on the street and not paying attention to what they're doing. Or you see somebody, even now, I saw a few people when I was driving over here.
Yep, in their cars.
In their cars, on their phones. And it's dangerous. These things are supposed to be a tool we manage, but they seem to manage us, and they've created distractions for everybody. My initial concern was my kids spending so much time on screens. And I have to admit, I'm one of the parents who probably used them as babysitters, had the TV in the car so they could watch movies while you're taking trips. And I lost sight of the fact that, hey, I'm supposed to be managing that, not defaulting to it. And so Gotta Look Up came to mind when I ran into somebody on the street and I turned and said, hey, you got to look up, right? And then I thought, well, gee, there's a higher purpose to that. It's not only looking from here to here so we can engage in an actual conversation, but it's looking higher, right, for salvation and spiritual guidance and things of that nature. So the book goes into that. The book is a compilation of stories from my life, some tough times I went through, and going through a divorce. Having my kids were a bit estranged, and I had to bring them back. So it talks about that and the steps I took to make that happen. Mm-hmm. And I just share stories of things that matter, the memories, the fun times, the stuff that families used to talk about before everybody had their face in these things. So
it's so powerful what you just said, because I think about it all the time. I have teenage boys now, but from the time, they were probably 8 and 10, they were on phones. They were not their own phones, but they were asking mom for a phone. And when I was in the middle of a conversation, okay, give me 5 minutes. You can have it for 5 minutes. And then 5 minutes turns into 10 minutes. And the next thing you know, it's their babysitter for an hour while I'm having an adult conversation. And it does become a crutch. And you realize that that's lost time. Later on in life. Now my boys are 14 and 16, and now I'm doing everything I can to sit down and have one-on-one conversations with them and engage with them outside of what's going on social media or, YouTube or whatever else they're watching. And it's one of those things where, unfortunately, it's part of our society now, but you said it so well, like we need to manage it and not the other way around. So I want to touch on something that you mentioned about your relationship with your kids, that for a time that you were a bit estranged. How did you start to bring your relationship back with them?
Yeah, so I got divorced separated in 2012. The divorce was official, I think, 2013. But December 12th of 2012, 12/12/12 was the worst day of my life. I walked into what I thought was an initial family counseling meeting, but didn't realize that she had been taking the kids for sessions prior to me being involved. And so I got completely ambushed by the counselor, and it was all focused on what I was doing wrong in front of my kids.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Can we talk about the good things too? Not just, I'm willing to work on what they're concerned with or what the concerns are, but I'm not understanding it. And I just got completely ambushed. And it was raining very hard that night. Our family has a house I was up in Northern California. My family had a house in one of the beach towns up there, which is like, a lifeboat for me. It was a zen place to go to. But I used to joke around, I'm the youngest old guy in this community now. But that was the worst night. I didn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling, crying. I drove home very slow that day because my kids saw me cry for the first time because I got completely bamboozled, right? And I thought, all right, that's it. I've been diplomatic. I've been trying to take care of everybody through this process, but they've turned my kids against me, and I'm getting them back. So my son came. It took a couple months after that for my son. He called me up and said, Dad, you got to come get me. And so I did, and we went to a restaurant, sat down. I said, you got to tell me everything everybody's telling you because I need to understand what you're being told, and I will be honest with you about, well, yeah, that's true, but that's not true or whatever. So we spent the next 2 hours just going over everything. And I said, well, that's not true. He said, we were told that you're not taking care of us anymore. I said, even if I didn't want to, I can't. The law would come after me, right? Okay. So went through explaining all that, and in the hard tightrope to walk. And this is why one of my missions is to tell people, leave your kids out of the divorce process, yes. Right? Love them.
Yes.
Give them security. Give them confidence. And don't turn the other person against them because they don't know how to process that. They're already trying to figure out how to process the change in their life. And if you compound that by trying to pit them against, and especially in-laws and other people, yes. Family members, stay out of it, right? So my daughter took longer. And how I started to get her back is I credit it to mashed potato volcanoes.
All right, tell me about that.
It took a while. The best advice I got was a dad who went through it said to me, don't stop being their father. If they don't expect anything back, be their dad. If you see something that reminds you of them, send them the picture and tell you just thinking about you. Send them a message. Don't overwhelm it, but remind them of the good things. Remind them you're their dad. So when the school year started, the parents had to volunteer a certain number of hours. And the parents for the class that my daughter was in, we had to volunteer right away for cafeteria hours. And I thought, this is interesting. I can see her every day if I work in the cafeteria as many days as I can work, because there just wasn't, it was just still a problem to spend time and all that. So I started working in the cafeteria at lunch. I'd go to work early. I'd leave. I'd say, look, I'm going to take a long lunch. I'm going to be gone for a couple hours, but I'll be here early and I'll stay late. So I did that and worked in the cafeteria as much as I could and got myself on mashed potato duty. There were 3 lines, and she came into the far one, and I could see her looking over, right? And I didn't want to put any pressure on her or anything, so I just kind of wave, and she'd kind of go through the line. Then next time she came to the middle line, and then finally came to my line. And I started whipping up the volcano with the gravy as the lava and the whole bit, right? And got a little smile. And that's what cracked it. Then the next time, she got in my line again, whipped up another one. 2 friends behind, can we get one too? Right? Next time, there's 10 friends. We want one, right? That thawed it out. And then we also had to do volunteer hours. She had to do volunteer hours. I said, here's what you do. Ask them if we can go clean up the beach. And so she did and got approval. And I picked her up and I took her down to Monterey. And we went to the wharf. And it was like 9 a.m. And I said, there was nothing open really, but I bought some saltwater taffy. And we're eating saltwater taffy, looking at the seals. And I open up a thing and I throw the wrapper on the ground and go, there's some trash we need to pick up, right? And so again, she started to remember who her dad really was. The fun, the smiles, the laughter, the stupid dad jokes, all that. And we spent the day together And I didn't bring anything. I just let her talk. I didn't bring anything up. I didn't say this is wrong, that's wrong. What I did tell her is I said, look, I will comment on behavior, but I will not comment on people. So I'll tell you when I disagree with somebody's behavior, but I'm not going to comment on them. And so it was just building trust one step at a time and reminding her who I was. And we're so good now. I mean, it's been a long time, but it didn't even take, I thought, shoot, this could take 5 years. And what am I going to do? And it didn't, thankfully. A lot of prayer, too. Open their hearts, let them know who I am, bring them back, and let me know how I have to get them back.
That's such a beautiful story. And I think what's sticking out to me the most is just how you unapologetically showed up as you there for her, not to prove anything or do anything, just to be present. And like, how did you know? How did you know that that was the way you needed to approach it?
Like I said, I got a really good piece of advice, and that's the advice I give. I get so many dads calling me, how'd you do it? What'd you do? And it's really that. I've seen dads make mistakes by saying, I'm her father, she will do this, or he will, or whatever. I'm like, no, throw that away.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
Well, I'm their dad, they should. That's gone, right? You can still be the authority, and you can still demand respect.
Yeah.
But you have to meet them where they are. They're going through something that they didn't expect they would have to go through, and you're part of the reason that that's happening. So it was always, hey, doors open if you want to talk about it. And again, I will comment on behaviors, but not people.
So powerful.
And the other piece of advice I got is don't sit across from them when you talk to them about this. So take them on a drive. They're sitting next to you, or sit them next to you, or if you're kicking back, staring at the ocean, just start talking about how you doing. Is there anything you need? And then the other thing my daughter saw was there was a high school she wanted to get into that was a private school. All her friends got in, and it was during the toughest time where she filled out an application, and she didn't get in that time. And she said, well, I want to go there. And I said, we'll try again next year. So after we started reconnecting, she asked me about it again. And I said, yeah, let's go ahead and petition it. Well, you're not going to be able to afford it. I said, it's my problem, not yours, right? So she applied, and they were more concerned about, well, can she keep up with the math, right? Because it's a more accelerated school. It's a religious school. And so what's funny is, and she would think this is funny too, she killed it in math. And she killed it, she got in, right? I got them to give her a 30-minute in-person interview. I said, don't look at the piece of paper, because if you're just valuing on a piece of paper, you're not meeting her, and you're missing out. So they gave her 30 minutes, and she got in. And I said, all I want you to do is get involved. And she goes, well, I can work off part of my tuition. She got all excited. And I said, yeah, go ahead. Well, the way she worked off her tuition is she signed up to do sports medicine, to be around the football team.
I love it.
I go, you're just using this to meet boys, right? But I said, fine. If we're doing this and we're going to spend the money on this, I want you to get full benefit out of it. I want you to get involved. I want you in clubs, sports, whatever it is.
Yes.
But don't just go to school, then go home. Go to school, stay at school, be around that community and benefit from it. And she did. She walked in. She was there 3 years, and she walked in a young girl and walked out a young lady. I mean, tremendous transition for her. And it was really special because she always used to call, Dad, are you coming to the game? You coming to the game? So I was at high school football games on Friday nights for 3 years.
That's not a bad place to be for a dad.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
And again, I got to be around her.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I'm just thinking about all this story and how beautiful it is, what an effort you made to be in her life in the way that worked for her. And I think about, like, I had not an estranged relationship with my dad. I wouldn't call it that. We weren't close. He was a provider, and he was strict, and there were rules, and and I think about all the things that you're just talking about, and thinking about how fortunate your daughter is to have a father that genuinely wants to show that he cares. And it's going to make such a difference in her life. I mean, I don't know how old she is now, but I'm sure.
She's 26.
Okay.
And both kids are, my son will be 30 next month.
Wow.
And he's a helicopter pilot and an airplane fixed wing pilot. He's trying to find his first gig doing that. and they're both with me right now. And we're in a little dinky condo, but we're making it work.
Yeah,
And,
that's amazing.
they're at the edge of the nest, and I'm like, flap a little harder, guys. It's time.
Yeah, that's so cool. So looking back
Yeah.
on this journey of where you were that night to where you are today with the relationship with your kids, clearly you have to be so proud.
I am. And it goes back to they were my whole focus, right? I was forced to win them back, which I didn't think I'd have to do, but that's what I devoted everything to. And it took a little while, but it took less than I thought it would. And we're great now. Everybody's got their issues, and they combat a little bit, but they always know the door's open. There's always a door for forgiveness both ways. There's much better communication. There's love. And as my daughter said to her friend, when the S hits the fan, I call my dad.
Yep, ain't that the truth? And that's even the case for me too. My dad was an attorney, and every time I get into trouble, it was like, oh, I'm calling my dad. What do I need to do?
But I tell you what, it is tough. I talk to many men that are going through that when you're separated from your kids. It affects both men and women.
Right.
It's not fair to the kids. It's not fair to the parents. If there's something physically or mentally abusive, then yeah, you got to protect your kids. But people who use it as a weapon, it's one of my issues. Is I just want people to wake up to the fact that you're really not benefiting the child by
Right.
seeking revenge,
Right.
and to think of them first. So
So powerful. And I'm assuming there's a lot of that in the book. I haven't gotten
yeah,
through
there's
the whole
stories
thing.
in there. I talk about my daughter, and there's a story in there about when she graduated that high school, and at least she did me a real good service, really moving. And there's
beautiful.
a story in there about that, tied to a yellow rose that I still have in my hanging up in my bedroom because I didn't expect it, and it's in there. That story's in there. So
I would love it if you would be comfortable with talking a little bit about what we were talking about before we hit record, just about, your life and being a business person and now finding this
yeah,
calling that you feel compelled to follow while still working, while still doing the things that you do on the day to day. But there's this other calling, there's this purpose. And that's kind of what this show is all about.
yeah.
It's about people finding why they're really here on earth. Okay, we may find that, oh, it's to raise our children, to do all those things. And yes, that is true. But there's a reason why God put us here. And he has most of us doing work for him. What is that work for you?
Very good question. I think I'm still trying to answer it every day.
Yeah.
I grew up in a time where it's like, go to college, get your degree, get a job, buy a house, get married, have the kids. Those times have shifted quite a bit. I've got a very good job with a very good employer right now, but the last few years, especially like 2019 and beyond, have been very up and down. I keep telling people my resume looks like an EKG. I'm here for 6 months, I'm gone. In that process, and in the process of writing this or creating this movement of, hey, don't spend so much time here, spend time here, I kept getting this notion of, you're not using the talents I gave you. You're not, go do something with it. Because I'd be like, is this it? This is really it? There's got to be more than this. And I'd go get in a job, and it wasn't aligned at all. And the company that hired me is like, we want you to go do this. I said, well, okay, great. We can get there, but we need to do these things. Oh, I don't want to hear that. I want you to just execute that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, there's stepping stones to get there. It's not going to happen in 3 months, right? So invariably, they wouldn't hit what they were trying to hit, even though I was trying to help them get there. And they'd lay off a bunch of people because they overhired. And again, I'd be like, what's going on? Hear the message again. You're not using the talents I gave you. Go write the book. Go do this. Go create the website.
I have the chills.
So I did. And it's interesting because I got off the path of writing the book for a bit because somebody, an expert in branding or whatever, pulled me aside and said, you can't do this unless you're a New York Times bestseller. You can't, And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can go down a different path then. Well, I was listening to somebody, not him,
Yeah.
right? And he was the one saying, use the gifts I gave you. And so it got back to, again, I don't understand. And you hear the voice in your head. I hear it too. And it was, I didn't ask you to monetize it. I asked you to write it.
Yeah.
So I don't even look. I have to look on Amazon to report taxes or whatever, but I don't even check it because it's beyond. It's not a money project. It's a help change the world project. Get it into as many hands as you can. It's a business card for me.
Yep.
To pass it around, and hopefully the stories will resonate with people, and they'll be like, "Hey, we want you to come talk to this group about this." And that's the plan with it.
It's the foundation.
To take what I've done, what I've created, the sales skills I've developed over many, many years, people skills, all that, and just go out and have conversations with folks. Because there's lots of people out there doing coaching or whatever that you want to call it, and they're making all kinds of money. But I'm looking at a different model. And yeah, I'd like to pay the bills with it at some point, and I'm in that transition phase. But my goal isn't to be a multimillionaire off this thing. My goal is to make enough, because that's the deal I have with him.
Yeah.
And that's the deal I made with him on that night. I got lost. I got trapped with, I need this type of car, this type of house, this type of thing. I'm sorry I got lost. Give me enough to take care of my kids.
I think that is a feeling, and and kind of in a way, hopefully, a lot of people wake up to, is that we all are chasing this idea of the American dream, or whatever that looks like, which is the house, the kids, the good schools, the cars, the vacations, all the things that we think that make us look like we have successful lives. And then if you achieve that and you are sitting around kind of going, well, why don't I feel satisfied or fulfilled? Even though I'm not ungrateful, I'm just not, because I'm not connected.
Yep.
And what you're talking about with your mission in this book is exactly where I am with mine, and why I do the work that I do.
I did order your book, by the way.
Good.
So,
Yay, thank you. Well, I'll sign
need to
it
get
for
it
you when I can
signed
see it.
someday. Yeah.
But it's the same thing. It is, God told me to write the book. God told me to get out and speak. This is the message he wants me to deliver. And whether I make money on it or not someday, I mean, a little bit here and there, but that's not really why I'm doing it.
He's my business partner.
That's right. CEO, the
Yep.
board of directors, the angels are up there,
My
all the
department
things.
is creation and execution. His department is everything else.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think that when you can finally get to that place, it's a peaceful and beautiful
Yes.
place to be.
Yep.
And the connections that you make and the people that want to support you and help you grow and be a part of this mission are authentic. That's the most important thing, I think, in this world, is a lot of people like your friend who was telling you got to be a New York Times bestseller and all those things. Those days are over. I mean, only really major authors are in that position anymore. And that's after they've done 5 books like this, right? And I think that's not your why. And we're here to do another job, and it's such a beautiful thing. Let's talk just a little bit about the book some more, because I have to say, what I love about this book is, as spiritual and uplifting as it is, it's also like a how-to book a little bit. There's a lot of, I love your descriptions, and just like there was I have to look, see if I save the page, but there's okay, this is it. The circles and relationships, and how you put like your soul, your heart, your mind, and your physical being is the center point of everything.
Yep.
And then how there's a circle around that, kind of like a bullseye going around and around, of all the relationships in your life and how they should look.
Yeah.
I love this because I'm a visual person. So when I was reading that, I was like, oh, I'm going to draw that. That's really cool.
Yeah. I tried to put a diagram in there. It just didn't come out that good.
But I
really,
can see it.
If you think about it, you're the center of your existence. You're here for a reason, and that's a one-to-one relationship with your creator. He put you, he or she, whatever you want to believe, but he put you here for a purpose. What is that purpose? My dad came home one time and just started pointing at me and smiling. It's like, you were born on this day, and the planets, the age of Aquarius, when Jupiter aligns with Mars. I was born on the day where that was all in place.
Whoa.
So from that, I felt this pressure. I'm supposed to do something.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have this massive impact.
Yeah.
But I was defining it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That massive impact was around, well, how can I make more money? And I need to run a company, and I need all this different stuff, right? Man-made rules, not God-made rules. And so I've completely shifted that mindset now, because you put a lot of pressure on yourself if you make it man-made. I've shifted it now to a God-made mindset of, we talked about this before we were recording, about universal net worth versus financial net worth. Both are important, but I was so much focused on the financial net worth, getting ahead, getting more, life. It doesn't say life, liberty, and the pursuit of more, pursuit of happiness.
Right.
There was no happiness. It was just more.
Yeah.
And so I've made that shift now to, who did I make smile today? Who did, get people to think about that? Because my heroes are the folks that gave their lives in wars. The single mom who's raising a couple of kids by working 2 or 3 jobs. If they measure themselves by societal measures, they're missing how valuable they are.
Right.
Those 3 kids have a stable environment because of them and their hard work. And it's not, they don't drive the Mercedes or be in the big house or whatever. They do what they have to do for their kids. That's heroic.
Right.
And I want people to start changing the mindset and really focusing on what matters.
Yes.
Which is family, friends, rescuing an orphaned dog, being a big brother to an orphaned kid. There's all kinds of things to do to give back. And that's part of what got me out of my abyss, was identifying, I call them trees of joy. What are the things when I was a kid that I liked to do? Get back in touch with that. I liked animals. I liked learning new things. I liked history. I liked to write. I liked to create. I like being out in nature. I started doing more and more of those trees of joy. And what I talk about is quicksand, because I was in quicksand and I had to get out. Well, how do you get out of quicksand? You throw a rope around a tree and you pull yourself out. And so that's why I talk about the trees of joy and as things you can hang on to pull yourself out. And then I talk about anchors of hope, which is, what do you want to do with your life, right? What are your passions? What are the things you're good at, the gifts from God that you can use? And get out of this mindset of, I got to make more money, or I got to drive a Mercedes, or no, you get to decide who you are, and you get to decide what your relationship is with Him, and you should leverage that, because it's completely changed my life.
Yeah, it's the perception of the way we look at our lives and choosing to look outward at the things and the material aspects of life versus our connections with our higher power, our relationships, the people. I have definitely noticed that the more that I pour into my relationships, whether that be my family, my friends, being of service to someone, even if I don't know them, just that's wealth from the inside out. And that is far more enjoyable than anything material.
Yeah.
You get the dopamine hit from buying something and it's gone 2 hours later or maybe a week later, depending on what it is. But really, the dopamine hit that you get from real authentic connection with human beings lasts forever. And so I think that's what people need to start getting in touch with, is this spiritual connection first and foremost with God and with themselves, and then build from the inside out.
I completely agree.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And this is
it.
why, we've just met today in person.
Yep.
But even before, just the exchange on texting and talking, it's like, I know who this person is.
Yeah, we're aligned.
Right?
Yeah.
There's alignment there. Yeah. And the world's missing that because they're too busy being distracted by what's on here.
Yes.
In the book, I have calls to action. I either say, look up, look around, look ahead, keep going. Those are kind of the 4. And I try to say, I write a story about when I went to Pearl Harbor, because I study World War II history. And there's a story about being on the Arizona Memorial and what happened there, on the ship, or above the ship. And who are your heroes in life, right? And they could be anybody, right? Who are your heroes? What characteristics do they have? How can you be a hero to somebody else? Who have you been a hero to? There's other things I have in there. I love quotes. I got quotes
Yes, I
sprinkled
saw
in
all
and
your
out.
quotes are amazing. Yeah.
I've come up with some of my own. I call them Tomisms. There's a future book of Tomisms on its
Cool.
way at
Yep.
some point.
Awesome.
But my first Tomism was the internet can't hug you back. Everybody's on here. Oh, I'm going to meet the love of my life. Swipe left, swipe right, swipe left, swipe. No, I swipe up. That's where I swipe.
Up. I love
right?
that.
That's
You
a Tomism.
That is a Thomism. You
Okay.
need to trademark that. I don't know
Well,
if
don't tell anybody. But
yeah, right. Okay, never mind.
yeah. So, the internet can't hug you back is one of them.
Yeah,
And then there's
so good.
there's a whole host of others I've come up with. The one I came up with most recently is you're a gift, so be present. Right? Hopefully there's a line of t-shirts down the road.
Yeah, I see
but
it.
I want to put them all in a book because they're things I also believe the ideas that come into my head are directed from somewhere else. Right? And that's why I had
Direct
to write
channel.
the book. It's like and we talked about this. There's times where you're typing away and everybody's got writer's block. You get started on something and then before you know it, it's like, where's this coming from? Because my fingers are just moving. Oh, that's
Yes.
great too. I'm going to do that, add that in. And I'm working now on a book, almost done with the first draft on forgiveness because there's not enough forgiveness in the world. And our world we're being split apart. And that scares me more than anything else because this is a great country and people on the extremes are tearing the middle of
100%.
us apart. And we've got to get back to taking care of each other because...
And I think that, again, starts here, the connection you have with God, and then seeing humanity as we're all part of the same higher power. And so I think you're absolutely right. This book is so important and so needed. I'm so grateful that you wrote it. I can think of a million people I'm going to gift it to. So thank you. It's so good. And what's next for Tom? Like, tell us where do you see yourself in a few years?
No, we met as a result of Jen Gottlieb's universe, I think. And she's amazing. I learned a ton from her about speaking.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out, again, there's the monetization component of it. I don't know that I'm a sell from the stage guy. I think I might be a podcast guy on YouTube. And the book is a way to get in front of audiences to talk more and more about going deeper about your faith and about looking up in the world and recognizing how good your life really is. Because I have talked people off the ledge. And I've had people call me in the middle of the night. I don't know if I can do it anymore. And I just have to say, keep going. One of the things I'm going to talk about on the pod, I'm going to redo the podcast. I have past episodes. I got to about 20 or 30. And then I kind of put it in hibernation because it needed more. I needed more to it. And I think YouTube's the platform I'm going to with it. And I want to talk about, in the Bible, Paul talks about the race. And I want to talk about the race. Because the first thing in your head when you hear race is an oval track, right? And I was thinking about this. If I'm a horse, I'm in the back stretch of life. I don't want to sprint to the finish line, though. I'm not going to the whip. I got stuff to do, right? But then you think about it, it's like, that's not where your race is. That's two-dimensional thinking. The race is something bigger. It's like a shotgun, and everybody goes off in their directions. Everybody's track is different, and everybody runs certain speeds, and they run into their own hurdles and stuff. I'm kind of giving you a sneak peek on this, but I want to focus on messages like that because I've talked, like I said, I've talked to some men where it's like, don't you want to see how the race ends? Don't you want to see how the movie ends? I know I do. I'm like, I didn't go to get through all this to here to stop.
Right.
And I don't want you to either. There's something we're headed toward that's beautiful and big, and he gets to decide what that day is, not me and not you.
That is so beautiful. Wow. I love that. And it's so true. Like, I think we all get to a place in our lives where we wonder, is this it, like we talked about, or, is this basically it for the next 25 years, or what can I create
Yeah.
based on what God has given me? And so it's like finishing the book, writing the next chapter, whatever it is. It's like we have the power to do it all.
Yeah.
And I love your idea of speaking. I see you speaking all over.
Well,
I
thank
see
you.
we're going to be on stages together. I have
Let's
a
do
feeling
it. Yeah.
you're coming to Nashville in September, right?
I am. Yes, I'm
Awesome.
going to
So
Nashville.
you're going to come to
Yeah.
our My Testimony Live in Nashville, which will be awesome.
And then
We
you've
can't
got
wait.
an event coming up
In October.
So I will at least attend that.
Yes, but it's going to be another great event too. So, well, okay, we have to make sure that our audience knows how to find you, follow you, support you, buy your book. Tell us where they can find you.
The book is available on Amazon. So if you just go on Amazon and Gotta Look Up with my name, Tom Campbell, and it's available on Kindle as well.
Okay.
Digital.
Oh, you have it digital as well. Cool.
And hopefully someday I'll actually read it and record it. Like I said, I'm working on a forgiveness book, and then I'm working on one called Keep Going, one called Gotta Look Around, which is going to be about other countries and other cultures, taking wisdom from that and packaging it, so we can look around and learn from that. And then Keep Going is about getting out and traveling, because I took an inventory of my life, like, what have I accomplished? What have I done? And when you really sit down and do that and think about everything, like, I've gone to a lot of places. I've met a bunch of people. I got waved to by the Queen of England when I was lost in London one day. So I'm going to talk about that story. And I ran into Princess Di when I was there one time. And so there's stories to tell around that I want to tell. But back to how to get hold of me. On Instagram, it's Tom_Campbell and then number 24. And then Gotta Look Up, it's gotta_look_up on Instagram. Follow me there. There is a website, gottalookup.com. I need to go in and update it and revamp it. And like I said, I'm trying to relaunch a podcast starting in July, hopefully, using YouTube as the main.
And will that be the title of the podcast? Gotta Look Up.
Yeah.
This is a movement. This is a movement. This is something that is going to, you keep going. This is your message. And this is something that is going to change lives.
Thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
So you guys have got to go out and get this book. I'm so grateful I got to spend this time with you, our first time meeting in person, but it won't be our last for sure. We're going to do some fun things together, I have a feeling.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you for being here, Tom.
Jen, it was so great.
So great.
It's great to meet you in person.
You
and
too.
Look forward to, as they say in Casablanca, start of a long and beautiful friendship.
There you go. I love that.
Okay.
I'm a movie buff, so hey. All right, that's it for us. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to hit subscribe and download so you don't miss an episode. And we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found this episode beneficial. And if you feel compelled to do so, share it with a friend who might benefit too. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Reach out to me anytime on my website at jenmentasana.com.